Power to the truth. Indeed, the truth will set you free. I want to express myself now about fear, fascism, and false flags. If you have been paying attention to what's going on in the real world that exists independently of the subjective consciousness in your mind, whether you recognize it or not, there has been a lot of stimulus and generating a mass fear by corporate fascism behind Al-Qaeda, the threat of Al-Qaeda terrorist attacks, dealing with the fear of a terrorist attack in Yemen, though who knows where. All these embassies that were closed, and basically people who are around any kind of U.S. embassy are probably fearful. So, the situation is fluid. Things change. Maybe you might downgrade. Remember, after 9/11, you do remember 9/11, don't you? Or did you forget? After 9/11, we had like the alert bars with different colors and stuff, and now we see there's a global awareness, through the media, through the corporate-controlled media, say CNN and many other corporate media outlets, about the threat of terrorist attacks again. As if fascism loves to keep people whipped up in a constant state of fear. F-E-A-R. False evidence appearing real. I have faith, so I do not easily fall into paranoid fear. I have faith in the cosmos, faith in myself, and faith in life in general. I'd rather walk around with faith than walk around in fear. Fear is a powerful emotion, a powerful state of being, that we need to combat. We need to combat evil, combat fear, combat the fascist empire. Reminds me of Egypt, with the uprising that went on there, and when the masses of Egyptian people got rid of their fear towards the regime, and they got the courage to protest against Mubarak, and eventually he was ousted. Then Morsi with the Muslim Brotherhood came in, and there was another great uprising by the Egyptian people, and now Morsi's out of there. Though Egypt is still in chaos, you know, the Egyptian people themselves have gained the courage through their own direct existential experience, the courage to know that they can change the government. Though ultimately revolution is the seizure of state power and the redistribution of the wealth, the transformation in property relations. Nevertheless, the Egyptian people have a strong, high consciousness. And if you look at the Arab Spring, you know, chaos going on in Tunisia, you know, that there has not really been any complete, authentic revolutions in that region. But the consciousness of revolution, you know, the awareness of the need for a real, genuine revolution is there. Revolution entails a transformation, a turnover of property relations, a transformation of property relations between the haves and the have-nots. Remember that. If there's no transformation of property relations, there has been no revolution. And that property also includes the army, the police, you know, the property of the guns and weapons, the media. So, us here in the USA, we are victims of the biggest, longest, deepest negative brainwashing in human history. And the government, or what I consider a rogue regime, the USA rogue regime, because the government's broken. If you haven't noticed, it's broken. Let alone economically, you know, we're broken. If China were to call in the dead, it could collapse the whole economy. The People's Republic of China, so-called, which is now the Chinese Empire. So we need to be aware and help others be aware. You know, keep studying, keep reading, keeping your mind open, and understand that we're living under a mature, scientific, self-aware, authoritarian fascism, which is spearheaded by American fascism, yet is now global, where it's linked up with other fascist elements in other countries. So, you know, we need to study on the whole idea of false flags. You know, when, say, a power creates an artificial situation as if it's being attacked, so someone else gets the blame. And I'm leaving links below here. You know, it was a naval term at one point in terms of the flag of that a ship was carrying. So now there's been many kinds of false flags. You know, Hitler with the Reichstag. You know, we look at the Anthrax scare after 9/11 here. And if we look at the whole Iraq war, where, remember, there were no WMDs found, no weapons of mass destruction. So we need to be aware and not fall easily into a fear. We should be prepared in terms of we should be armed. So people who are telling you, we shouldn't have guns, they are not speaking in your interest. We have the right to bear arms. Yet, even more important than the right to bear arms is having the courage, when required in a given situation, to use those arms in the name of self-defense. What good is a gun if you're too much of a coward to use it and you're being attacked? Don't go lightly into no ovens. Get out of line. If that line is going to a concentration camp, you better get out of line. So the situation in the USA changes every day, and the whole ideal of the concerns about terrorist attacks, it could be true. Because fascism says because of the chatter, which I imagine from their surveillance. Yet, don't you think it's kind of strange that with our hero and whistleblower Edward Snowden and the revelations that he came out with about the global surveillance, basically whatever we transmit through any kind of e-media, internet, iPhone, any kind of electronic device through which we transmit information, communication, has potential to be monitored. Now, don't you think it's strange that now that he's Snowden here, now that he's not at the airport and he's actually on the land in Russia, then all this terrorist threats come up. Could just be a coincidence. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and though Alex Jones has come out with some good stuff, I think overall he's a fanatic, and he's heavy into sensationalizing and fear-mongering, which I hate, because many people are already afraid. Why stimulate or agitate that fear even more? Some people we can have a healthy fear. Like a fear of falling down. If you're disabled and you walk with a cane or something. Fear of going hungry. fear of becoming homeless. So there's other kinds of fears. Fear of cancer, fear of becoming disabled. And to a point, they can be natural, quote-unquote, normal fears. But when the U.S. regime pumps up your fear and has you be suspicious of strangers, has you be, mistrustful towards other people, have you be paranoid, where somebody's watching you. That kind of fear is not healthy. So we need to really be aware of when that fear comes at us. Sometimes it can be subconscious. We may not really be fully aware of our fear. So let's do what we can to be aware, pay attention to your environment, and have faith in yourself. Overcome fear. And let us unite together and overthrow global fascism. Power to the people. Nada más.